Yo, this hot, this the spot, there it is, pod.com. We're interviewing the best comedians, so tune in quick and get your ears receiving them. We talking about life and life to stream right to you, from the microphone right to your home, dude. Side note, this might get embarrassing, but no, don't sweat, yo, cause there it is.
Welcome to the There It Is podcast, a comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a great episode today. It is with actor and improviser and improv instructor, Ivy Hong. She is great. I've had the pleasure of performing with her before, and we talk about performance and how speech and debate played a role in her life, which is very interesting. But also we talk about a web series she's in called Making Out, which you can watch on the creator Jana Keaton's Instagram at jana.keaton. So you can check that out. But let's just get right to it. Here's my chat with Ivy Hong. Ivy, so great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jason. I'm so excited.
Me too. It's a long time coming. I should have had you on a long time ago.
Oh, I don't know. This feels like the right time. I was like, I don't know. I feel like I got pretty woo-woo stargirl during the pandemic, and I'm like, oh, things will happen when they're supposed to.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And I kind of feel that way too. Even just sort of accepting when tough things happen, or right. You know, it's just life. Stuff happens, and then things end up working out somehow. So it's not really the end of the world at the end of the day. Like it can sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, this is not to say that, like, you know, it's not like everything happens for a reason. Like people suffer through tragedies to test. That's, you know, that's not. I'm just like, things will come to me when they do, like, what, you know, like I'm just like on no one's time, but you know, the universe's.
Yeah, that's how I've gotten to be. And you know, sometimes you do need to maybe like prong things ahead, but you just can't force anything to happen when it's so much of it is out of your control.
Yeah.
Even you could do all the right things and, you know, it doesn't happen. And then when you're not looking, or trying, then it does happen. It's like the world is weird.
The world is weird. It's so weird. We're all just we all just have to be ready for the surprise, or like many surprises, an infinite number of surprises all the time.
Right, exactly. You're from Las Vegas, right?
Well, my parents moved there and moved me there in the middle of high school. So I was between my sophomore and junior years in high school. It was really great timing for me. But we live in a suburb of Vegas now, but I only lived there for a couple of years. And I'm originally from Santa Cruz, California, like little touristy destination. Is a beach town. I used to refer to it as like a hamlet when I was younger, because it's like protected by the mountains from San Jose, even though it's not.
I get that.
Far. Yeah, but turns out a lot of people know Santa Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, being from the South, I had heard of Santa Cruz a lot.
I didn't know until I thought it was like Pulp Fiction that put us on the map. It's like, you know, like when
maybe that's what it is.
Like John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's characters were wearing Banana Slug, like the UC Santa Cruz shirts on during that one scene with Tarantino,
right.
But so many people know it. They're like, oh yeah, I just went through Santa Cruz. Like we visited there for vacation, and I was like, I didn't know that it was a known place. But
I think what it is that part of California, so much of that part of California, at least, I feel like is sort of like the understanding people who don't live in the Northeast have of the boroughs in Manhattan. Because you all just everyone thinks of New York City as just New York City.
Yeah.
And I hear about Brooklyn and I hear about the Bronx, but I don't understand what people are talking. Like outside, if you're not from this part of the country, then you very well may have just heard of places but don't understand
Yeah.
how it's situated here. And I think
Yeah.
that probably happens a lot for parts of California.
Yeah. I mean, California is huge. It's
Yeah.
so big.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. People don't realize how far San Francisco is from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Um, and it's pretty far.
Yeah. Like culturally, geographically.
Yeah.
Far.
Yeah, it's far. So we a year ago went out to California and we were in LA and then we went up to San Francisco, but when we were coming down, we and you're not Santa Cruz, not far from Carmel by the Sea,
Yeah.
which that was a place I had not heard of, and it was pretty interesting. Is it similar to Santa Cruz?
I didn't spend a lot of time in Carmel. It was always like, we talked a lot about these neighborhoods and my parents are both immigrants and so like we stayed pretty local. The only reason I would travel out to those places were like field trips or if a very good trusted friend wanted to take a trip with their parents, like we'd have to know all about it before I got, like it was okay with my parents to go there. But I don't know. I think like I've been there once in my life and know it as the place as when I was growing up as the place Clint Eastwood was mayor.
Oh, I didn't realize he was mayor of Carmel. I knew he was mayor in California, but I didn't realize it
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah, I think so. And like I'm aware of all these places, but like didn't have much experience there. I think like the furthest place that I went regularly was like Capitola because there was a mall there. And
Oh, interesting.
yeah, like a giant strip mall that my parents loved one of the restaurants.
Yeah. The reason I brought it up is because Santa Cruz is like you said it's like you thought it was like a hamlet. And Carmel by the Sea seems like that to me because
Yeah.
it did not feel fully like a real place. It's
Yeah.
so pristine and it's so small and kind of hidden but gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was just like, how are people from here? Like, are people born and raised here? Like, where is the school? It felt like, like soap operas where they're based in a town that's not a real place.
Oh yeah.
That's what Carmel by the Sea felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah, like it's like a coastal Sherman, Illinois.
Yeah. Like very affluent. People
Yeah.
clearly had money. But what is this place? It was such a bizarre place
Oh yeah.
in a great way.
I think Santa Cruz is like the hippie version of that. Like most coastal cities in California end up being a little hippie-ish and like
Mhm.
super super arts oriented
Mhm.
and that's really how I grew up. Like I'll tell stories about things that I've done in junior high and high school. And I remember one of my very, very close friends is from upstate New York, like Orange County. And he was like, "You went to the tide pools for field trips, like regular, like what do you mean?" And I was like, "Yeah, we would learn about the ecosystem and the environment, like really early on. We would take trips to the redwood forest and learn about animals
Wow.
and
Yeah.
plants." And we learned to value those things. Like we
Yeah.
would skip skip school on like certain days to go protest downtown. And our
Oh, wow.
teacher could be like, "Oh yeah, well, that person was wrongfully imprisoned. So okay." Like
Well,
it was
that's
a
interesting.
yeah, it was like a very like I there was, like dangers and threats and things, but I didn't think of it as like a place where I would learn to have street smarts, that's like really not the place to do it.
Yeah, I need to go by there sometime. I've never been. I've been to San Francisco a couple of times, but not, and as I mentioned, Carmel by the Sea, but I haven't been to
Yeah.
Santa Cruz. Uh,
It's like lovely because it's a place where they value both arts and education and like they famously have this like really great Shakespeare company called Shakespeare Santa Cruz and the Marine Lab because it's right by the ocean. So the university is like known for drama and marine biology. I'm sure things have changed, but that's kind of the themes of the city. There are more, but you know, like when I was growing up, that's like one of the sort of foundational things that I knew about Santa Cruz.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And you went to NYU,
Yeah, I did.
but you studied psychology. You didn't go for acting or film or anything like that, right?
Yeah, it's funny when your parents are immigrants and they come for the dream that was promised to them of like prosperity and like a good future for your kids, they don't much care for their firstborn daughter to go into the arts, into like a like notoriously competitive industry where money is not guaranteed. And
Hmm.
you know, like they associated it with going nuts, like it's the path to corruption
Yeah, or
in so many ways.
yeah, like going like when people say like, "Oh, he joined the circus." Yeah.
Right. But it was like they were like the best case scenario is that you know, like you perform regularly and you are not in the gutter somewhere. Like that, like
Mhm.
avoiding the gutter and being able to perform regularly, that's like the modal person who comes out of like a, you know, like with a performing arts degree or like studies
Mhm.
performing arts. So they were like, absolutely not. We will not pay for your education. You will have like there's no way you're going to do that. You need to get a proper degree where you can be gainfully employed afterwards. And and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll study psychology because I want,
Gotcha.
yeah, I want to understand how the mind works.
Yeah. And at my school, as a theater minor and mass comm major, a psychology class was a requirement. So there is some overlap, I guess, for some reason with
Oh yeah,
psychology and that.
definitely. Like, had I gotten into Tisch, like, Tisch has rigorous academic standards. Like, you have to keep your grades up,
Hmm.
and it's not like they're not messing around at all.
Right.
All the well-known performing arts curriculums like Yale and Juilliard, they also require very rigorous academic achievement.
Hmm. Yeah. So what made you, obviously you went, you studied the way your parents wanted you to, but you were going there to pursue, it sounds like, theater and acting and the arts. So when did you get bit by the bug?
Oh, probably when I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I always wanted to be a on stage or in front of a camera. Like you could see, it's so funny. Like you see pictures of me when I was younger because I was like the firstborn girl of all my grandmother's sons and daughters on my dad's side. Like I
Wow.
was the only girl, and at the time I was born, I was the youngest. And so in a lot of ways, I was treated like a little princess, which is not. I was insufferable then. I'm insufferable now.
You're not insufferable.
Oh, I am very poorly behaved. And I always wanted to go into performing. Like all my childhood pictures, you can see me like mugging for the camera, like literally like contorting my body into shapes and things and just like lighting up. And I soon sort of shed that that sort of like joyfulness in front of the camera, you know, like in terms of that, because now like when someone ta tries to take my picture, I'm like, ooh, and I freeze up and I pull faces because I'm like, I feel like I'm not very photogenic, but I always wanted to be in front of people and always wanted to be on stage, like telling stories or making jokes or just being seen, I
Hmm.
guess. And I always thought of art, like any piece of art or any medium really, as a way to like connect with the larger audience and for the artist to be like, I don't know how to um I don't know how to express what I have inside except for this. Like
Hmm.
these things, these ways. I'm reaching out, hoping it moves people, because this is what I feel, and I just am hungry to be seen.
Yeah. And did you get to do much like on stage stuff before you moved to New York?
I was always in the school play. I was
Okay.
always like, and when my parents moved me to Henderson, I wanted to be on stage all the time. I was, in the high school superlatives, I was voted most theatrical, but um, we had a thing at our high school where our drama teacher, he was like, I've been to Hollywood and I've worked there for a number of years. I am going to cast these shows as if like where you're working in the Hollywood system, you need to look right for the part because that's what you're up against if you want to do well. You have to understand that there's like what he was talking about was like branding, like personal branding, but it was represented in a way where like you will understand the harsh realities of how you're seen in this
Hmm.
industry. And we're going to start now. Um,
Wow.
but so I actually was not able to get cast in many things. I was always like background or like some supporting
Uh-huh.
like non-speaking character. So I actually turned to speech and debate, which that was I mean like that was phenomenal because it like I was primed for, like something scripted but with like a little bit of
Right.
improvisation. And it's
Yeah, a little loose.
yeah, but also with like a specific goal. Like,
Right.
you're gonna I did mock trial. I got to skip the mandatory first level or first year's of speech and debate types, which was Lincoln Douglas debate. I'd never had to do that. Because I was already on the mock trial team, they were like, well, your grandfathered in. And then I got to do duo interpretations, which is like the more speech part rather than the debate. And I had a duo partner who was I mean she was like my favorite person, and we would take really we would take scripts that didn't really have much of a story, and we would give them meaning, and we would do all of these strange things as like interstitials and things. We would bake them in so that the we were keeping to the script exactly, which you had to do. You
Hmm.
cannot, you can't make any ad libs. You can't flub a line. If you do, you just stop until, and because you're judged on how closely you follow that script. So we had
Yeah.
to be like word perfect,
Yeah.
and we would find ways to like show off our personalities, which almost always came out in like these weird sort of non sequiturs,
Hmm.
but we did really well. And we were so well connected, and we were both perfectionists, and so that was like my favorite. That was my favorite because in forensics, in the speech and debate program I was in, this duo interpretation, there were some guidelines. You can never face your partner. You always had to face out towards the audience, and so even when we were speaking directly, along the lines of the script, and you had to do something like shake their hand. You would reach out straight to the audience, and the other person would be standing next to you, and then you would reach out directly, and we would mime shaking hands that way.
Wow.
Yeah, and oh my God, they're like
Did
I
that look crazy?
yeah, but you got used to it. You got used to it, and we would watch these like really seasoned duo interpretation performers, and we would be like in awe. We were such
Wow.
fans that we would be like, well, we gotta be able to like do something like that, but let's not do exactly that. Let's find a better way. And so yeah, like we were going around stealing shit, which is what you should be doing as a performer, right? Like you
Well, yeah, I mean, so much of what people do is like there's learning from others.
yeah,
It's like, oh, that's a move somebody can do.
right.
And that's valid. No one's inventing anything.
Right, right.
Everyone's like picking up on something someone else did and they might alter it.
Yeah.
I mean the good ones do.
Right.
the
You
people who are
understand the
just doing
spirit.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Like you don't take the joke exactly, but you take the spirit of it. You understand the mechanics of why
the
it was
mechanics
successful.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You take the mechanics and you go like, oh, I get it. That helps you learn a lot. So how much of that has continued to inform you now as you do improv or any acting roles?
Well, like you learn to watch the greats and try to break down why it was great.
Mm.
Often it boils down to like they were authentic in their moment. So you're like, okay, I that's my job. My job is to make this real for me and for the audience and to like not try to move people, but because then you're just sort of indicating things, right? And you get an inauthentic performance, but I mean, the secret is worst kept secret in performing is like you have to be sincere and vulnerable.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so it's like learning how to do that within the limitations of whatever it is that you're doing. And sometimes those limitations are artificial and you can break them and be groundbreaking, or it's just we've gotten to a cycle where this one thing is trending. And even though it was the norm maybe decades ago, and you're like, well, let me just throw this back in there, like into the mix to see how it lands. And then people are like, oh my God, revolutionary, because they just haven't been used to seeing it, you know? But a
Yeah.
lot of watching and living life is really, like the prep work for it and like living adventurously and authentically to like experience more.
I have had that same thought of like just living life. Obviously, a lot of people give the advice of living a big, interesting life, but just living your day to day life. I started realizing how informative that is for acting when I was in like, I don't know, grade school at some point. And I was like, oh, I should be like so much of the art that is out there is about experiences like this. And I got to remember what this feels like for when I am
Yeah.
trying to present that.
Yeah.
It's so helpful to really be. That's why it's like good to just be in tune with who you are as a person and what your blocks are, because emotional blocks really make it hard to exude or take in. And so you really do have to be a vulnerable person in your day to day life to be a good artist.
Yeah. I totally agree. And it's I think right now the medium of entertainment is changing so much
Hmm.
that like everybody has the opportunity to perform if they want to. If you've got a phone, if you've got a camera, if you can, you have access to the internet, then it's you can create your own opportunities, which is really cool. But also, like the people who've been doing this for a while or who have studied it is like, well, like there's nuance and subtlety to a performance, and there are some important, like critical things that you learn along the way to give more weight to the way that you're relating to people through the camera or on stage. And
Hmm.
like you don't always need those things when for like smaller formats, but like they can be helpful if you understand them, but not always. Like you can absolutely make a connection or move people or say or do something that resonates with people without it. It's just helpful if you do. It can be very helpful if you do. It's just tools in your tool belt, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you were here in New York, you moved here over a decade ago,
Yeah. Oh,
however,
yes.
however long ago it was. And when did you start taking improv classes?
I started taking improv at the end of 2012.
Hmm.
It's like, I think it was like December was when my first level one class with Rick Andrews. And I was so excited because I had watched a lot of UCB sketch
Hmm.
and when I was like in school, and I didn't really get that I could take classes to learn it. I was just like, oh my God, there's just a bunch of people here who are good at this. Incredible. And I want to be good at this. I am such a fan. Well, that's it for me. And then I go back home and like try and not think about like, oh, I can ask about classes here. Just and didn't understand. I didn't know about improv. I had only used improv in acting for exercises to get out of my head, or like to have a little bit of distance from the text, so that we could live the life of these characters, and then we go back to the text and see what kind of layers we can unearth from that. But I didn't really know until a friend of mine was like, I was thinking about taking improv, and I had just done a couple of shows, well, a series of shows, which were really cool. Actually, they were stage adaptations of Ed Wood movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I I had missed a cue, or actually I'd gone on too early. And I had like set up my desk because I was supposed to do it while my area of the stage was dark, and then I was supposed to be lit when it was time for my character to speak. But obviously I go in character the entire time, and anytime you open the door and you're in front of the audience, like every moment is witnessed by the audience, and they understand that it's part of the show. And I realized that I was on a scene too early.
Hmm.
And so I very quietly in character like packed up my things and left. So it just looked like I entered, sat and observed for a moment, and then left. And one of the other more experienced actors, she was like, next time that happens, just stay there until you like commit to it and just stay there. And I was like, oh, that would have been better. It just like I mean, it just did
Yeah.
not occur to me to like commit to that. And I was like, oh, but it planted the seed that I was like, I need to be a little bit better on my toes, and
Mm.
to understand like the dynamics of what's happening on stage while there's like a crew of people backstage and off stage who are helping to make this happen. And I was like, it is, it's like a responsibility to
Yeah.
keep this non-reality of the story alive, and that would have helped. That would have helped. And I was like, oh, that would have been distracting. So I need to I need to brush up. So when my friend was like, I'm going to take an improv class, I was like, hot dog. I'll can I join in? And she was like, oh, that would be great if then I wouldn't have to do it alone, which is scary.
Yeah.
And because she wasn't a performer per se, but it was just one of those things she was doing to like stretch and grow, and she'd heard about it, and she was like, I did a lot of research, and Rick Andrews at the Magnet Theater, he has like so many good reviews. Overwhelmingly, that's the place that is like it's the best place to start. And
Mhm.
I had actually heard about Magnet years previous because I made a little indie zombie movie. I was cast in it, and it was mostly filmed in Long Island, but one of the other actors, Jun Naito, who
Uh-huh.
who was like a working actor, he was also in it, and he was handing out magnet stickers one day, and he was like, "If you ever want to take improv, take it here. This is the best place." And so, because it rang a bell, I was like, "Well, that's it. That's two data points. Obviously, I'm going to sign up." And I signed up like within the next, couple of days, and we started in 2012, and I mean, it's hard to pin down exactly when I just fell in love with improv, but it was pretty immediate, Uh,
Cool.
yeah.
So you hadn't seen improv shows before that?
I had, but they
Hmm.
weren't, they were in a past life, I was heavily involved with the gaming community. A bunch of my friends were like really, really dedicated gamers, and they made
Hmm.
they made art based on video games. I'm talking like music. They would write parody scripts about video games that they
Oh,
love.
wow.
Yeah, and there was there was even like a festival I'd go to, and at this festival there were improv shows based on video game tropes and premises. I'd seen like a lot of short form. I did short form shows for a little while, like
Oh, okay.
yeah, but not long form.
I'm trying to think when I mean, in person, I know that people from Theater 99 came to my college, but I don't remember that I actually saw them there.
Really?
I just kept seeing about them, but they were like touring
Ah,
all the colleges.
but you started improv before you moved to New York, right?
Hmm.
That's how you met Justina.
Yeah, at our old theater, Alchemy Comedy, in Greenville, South Carolina. They may have been my first live. No, well, yeah, I feel like all the live improv I saw before that in person was short form. But the first long form in person improv that I saw was Alchemy, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
But I knew about it because I had seen the DVD for ASCAT.
Oh, oh my God. I didn't even realize there were DVDs of that, but of course there were.
They just had one. They just had the one ASCAT DVD, and I saw it a few years prior. But there was no long form improv happening at that point in my town. So I was just like, I wish I could do this.
Like sight unseen.
Yeah, I mean, just like seeing that DVD, I was like, I'd love to do improv like this. Because I took an improv class in college, but it was short form.
Right.
Even though we read the Truth in Comedy book, and it really only talks about long form. It doesn't really, I don't think it talks about short form at all. The teacher just had us doing short form while reading a book that's about doing a herald and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? So
I
it
guess
was
they're just like you absorb like the good points through osmosis and bring as much of that as you can, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it was, more power to them. I'm glad that I got to take the class because I took it with a couple of friends. And it was a relatively good experience despite a couple of jackasses. But
wait, relatively?
What I didn't love about it was I just don't think it was the best education of improv.
Oh.
Because it was just setting people up. I felt like a lot of stuff set people up to be sort of jokey.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which is like, you might as well just be setting them up to fail.
Right.
And that did not create the best environment for support.
Right.
And so there was that problem of just like, we're trying to come up with jokes essentially and not getting direction on how to do that well.
Right.
And then it was landing like a thud if the joke wasn't good and moans. And it's like, we're in a class, like other students shouldn't be judging
Yeah.
this like that. Like so it was just like, that was an issue. And then one guy was just like an arrogant dick. He and somebody else in the class were being really smarmy one day, and a student called him out.
Oh, I love that.
A student called him out the next class and was like, we keep reading in the book about how this is about support and not judging.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, the teacher should have fucking said that.
Exactly. Like, hey, instructor, maybe instruct a little.
Right. Yeah. The teacher should have said that when it happened. It shouldn't have had to like wait. We shouldn't have had to band together.
Right. And have it like a grassroots movement to stop this jerk. Like,
yeah.
I did actually, I did go see. I do have a memory of watching an improv show, and it was in Boston because I had, a partner who was from around there. And so when I went to visit, we went to an improv show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was not great. It was not great. And at the time, I was like, oh, this was not impressive. But I had this impression, just like this, like this vague idea that I was like, they were probably not doing it the way that they were supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know anything.
Yeah, as often as we've seen shows, there's certainly sometimes you see people from different places, like even different towns, and you're just like, I don't understand what they're doing. Yeah. And I don't want to be mean, but I don't understand what's going on.
I mean, the real me was like, this was terrible, but like
sometimes it's bad,
but also I was like, I think it's because they were doing things that were annoying, and and they weren't doing it. I just had a sense without knowing the principles of improv and how it's done well. Like, I was just like, I don't think they were doing it right.
Yeah, I've been in that experience where I was like watching something and I was like, this isn't good because people are just being random for the sake of being random, and it's not good. It's not like the fundamentals, like you said.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same place
Oh my gosh.
that
I
we
don't,
saw.
yeah, I don't want to call them out because it's
I
like
don't want to call about either, but
improv is
I
hard.
wonder. I wonder if it was the same place because I had the similar experience of seeing the short form, and I was like, this is like these two people are being funny, but what what they set up is being intentionally distracted by people who are trying too hard to be funny.
Yeah.
And so it was like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
Like what they just totally torch this good scene
Yeah.
by trying too hard to be funny. And it's like, why is this at this festival? I'm now like why? Oh, why? How did they get a in to this festival? So it's
Oh God.
yeah. I mean, that was kind of that experience early on for me, and then I saw the ASCAT DVD and was like, this is what I want to do. And I always respected Whose Lines It Anyway,
Of course.
but I never thought about doing that kind of improv. And when I saw long form, that was like exactly the sort of thing I want to do.
Yeah.
And when Alchemy started in Greenville, I started taking classes with them. And so it was, and we did do short form, and I enjoyed doing short form there. But we mostly were doing long form, which I loved.
Yeah, that's where like you really get to connect, and it's not, it's like the marriage of like relationships, and like if you can to throw in a little game, like it's not so different from short form. It's just that like short form cuts out all the relationship and like the drama, that goes from
Hmm.
creating it. It's not, I mean, it is different on its face, but principally, still, if you're authentic and you're confident in what you're
Hmm.
doing, it's still much better than when you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the things I love about Magnet is that authenticity and the relationship and groundedness of the approach at Magnet. So I've continued to love it. You have so you've taken a ton of classes at Magnet. You've been
Yeah.
on megawatt teams.
Yeah.
You're also instructing now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in like the final stage of like training. I have I have a 4 weeks to go before I'm like officially an instructor at Magnet. Hopefully it goes well and I'm not
Yeah.
fired unceremoniously for
I doubt it. No.
traumatizing people.
How is it going? This because I had went through the same process a couple years
Yeah.
ago, where like the first time you observe, and the second time you co-teach, and then the third time you are the one being observed. How's it been?
It's the actual learning to be a teacher is hard because, like it's in level one, everyone's learning to be brave and on stage
Hmm.
and just to make choices, right? And what a scene is. Sometimes people come in with no performance experience, and that's fine because,
Hmm.
like authenticity, sincerity, and funny can be found anywhere. It's kind of
Hmm.
like in Ratatouille, where he's like, not everyone can be a chef, but a good chef can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
Eh, but in terms of the actual experience of teaching level one, it is, I'm, I feel like it's not an exaggeration to say it feels magical because you watch people go from like not knowing, especially post-pandemic, some of them like have never seen a show, which is a little, I'm like, so you have no performance experience, you don't have a background in theater, and you've never seen improv. Like you've never sat down for a show, you've never gone to like a theater
Yeah.
and seen it, but you're here. Oh my God. And then I'll always be like, at some point the shock will wear off and I'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, that happens. But I'm like, so how'd you find your way here? What made want to take it. But then at the end of 8 weeks, they're putting on a full Armando, they put on a show and they're always get like level one, like everybody knows this. You know this. This has
Yeah.
been your life, but like level one shows are the best. They are.
They really are.
They're so funny and they're
Yeah.
so good and there's such an excited energy because it's wild before anyone knows like what the like like the more finer do's and don'ts are. They're
Hmm.
just going for it and it's amazing. It's you never have a bad level one show.
Honestly, none of my classes have had a bad level one show. And the only time where it was like, this was a good show, but it felt like maybe a more tepid show was just because they didn't invite people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are like, 14 people in the
Yeah,
audience.
more.
And it's like, that's harder to feel good for you. And that's why I always tell them, like, invite people. It's way
Oh
more. It's
yeah.
someone who's done comedy for as long as I've done comedy, almost 20 years. I got to tell you, a bigger audience is always better than a small audience. So
I
invite
know.
people if you want to have a good time with this.
Sometimes like I think like there's like they're like, well, I know that you've been doing this for years and I know you've seen it happen over and over again. So you must be telling me the truth that a big audience is better than a small audience, but I'm just not gonna
Right.
do that. I'm just
They
not gonna.
still don't. It's like, oh, you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come out, your friends and family who are not comedy nerds
Yeah.
will come out for your first show, for your first class show, and maybe your second class show.
Right.
So those are the times to invite people, is really invite them for that first class show because
Yeah.
there's a good chance they won't come out to another.
I mean, yeah, like we're it's a smaller theater, but every New York performer understands like especially if you're on stage that whoever is putting on the production, whoever your management is going to be like promote, invite people to shows and it's like, listen, my friends and family are so tired. They've seen me a million times. We,
Yeah,
we can find new audiences, but like for your level one and level two shows, like the value of a hot house cannot be understated. It's like, I mean, if they don't learn from the first show, they'll, like learn afterwards. It's like the audiences, they want to be there. They're rooting for you. Like, get your plants in.
yeah,
Like because it'll make you better. It'll make your
yeah.
show better.
You'll enjoy the experience because they only want to go there. I always tell this my students, your friends and family only want to go there to celebrate you.
Yeah.
They're not going to be there to laugh at you
Right.
or they don't want to see you eat shit.
Yeah.
They're not there for that. And if they are, then stop associated with them. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not good people if that's their
You're right.
vibe.
You're gonna discover something very unsavory.
Right, right. Like if you got a friend who just wants to go so they can laugh at you, then don't be their friend.
Yeah,
But
crazy.
right. But like that is not the case. Like they want to come and just be like, this is so awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. They want to applaud for you getting on stage and bring you flowers and buy you a drink and slap you on the back and cheer for you. Like that's what they want to do. So invite people to your show. Like it's
Yeah.
such a bad idea to not invite people to your class show. So I'm curious how I know it's early, you're in the third phase of your training, but has it altered your thought process on how to do improv yet? Has that started happening? Because that definitely happened to me. It started making me really see like, oh, I should do this more.
I think it is only um like made me dig in my heels further on what I thought was true and good for improv. Like and I mean like I've retaken magnet classes levels 1 through 4 multiple times. I've taken level 1, 2, 3, and 4 at least 3 times each. Because I was a big sibling and if there was an opportunity to take a class, like I would. I was also an intern and I was a tech intern, so I could take both electives and the core curriculum. And so I was just blowing through those classes and indulging myself, really indulging myself. And like you hear the same things over and over and over again from instructors who have completely different styles from different disciplines, different situations on stage, but there are a set of things that will always be true and will always help you get to a good place. Like this is something that I heard Rick Andrews say. He would say there are no wrong choices. There, like there's good choices and like not wrong, but like bummer choices. And
Hmm.
like you avoid making some of those bummer choices only because it'll, like kind of stall your scene or make it a little harder to get to the funny. And you want to make it easy. You want to make everything look easy and you want to make everything feel lived in and authentic and real to the audience. And so
Right.
I think it's just made me more grumpy and curmudgeonly those in those things. But one thing I did realize from like retaking a level one, because I had to observe and then like co-teach, like being in a level one class after all these years again
Hmm.
did illustrate something that I hadn't really spent much time thinking about, which is like like you learn a new skill by layering on the fundamentals and then you refine things, right? The skills and the concepts get much more subtle and sophisticated. So like you're just building layer by layer these skills. And you get to a certain point in improv and you learn some of those foundational rules are no longer hard rules. Like you can break, like, oh my gosh, don't do transaction scenes, don't coach, don't, like ask questions. But
Right.
at a point, you reach a level where you can break all those rules. And
Yeah, you'd totally be, if you're doing a transaction scene,
yeah,
you can do it. It
yeah,
just, you have to have two characters with a specific perspective,
right.
and it has to be about what's happening to them
Exactly.
in that moment.
Right. It's just like that is the context, but you are the content. You and your
Hmm.
relationship with the other person are the content, and it's about
Right.
your connection. Like nobody cares if you successfully buy a pack of gum. Nobody cares. It's
Right, right.
what happens while you're doing it that's important. And so, like, same with coaching, same with like fighting. You can absolutely fight with your scene partner, but the audience has to understand why you are still in that room. Because if you just hated each other and there's nothing left, you would just leave, right? This
Yeah.
drawing you together. So you're fighting to stay together. And those are the things that you learn once you have, like the fundamentals down. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is how to do it well. We just keep you from doing it back then because you get stuck. And we want you to have successful scenes to feel what the successful scenes are so that when you get to more challenging things, that you can do them with, like with skill and finesse. And
Right.
so I was like what I saw was like it kind of goes around in a circle, like, right? Like you learn all the rules and then you get in your head, but when you start, you're just playing with this wild abandon. You're just
Yeah.
whatever. I instinctively think it's funny. I'm going to try it now. And you just like dump it all out. But afterwards, you start to like shave things off and you put up these
Hmm.
guardrails. And then you get to a place where you all of a sudden the guardrails are off, but you still have all of these rules and things in your head where you're like, don't do this, but also you can try some of these things. And like after that sort of inflection point, you're just trying to recapture the wild abandon of level one. Like when you were like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You're
I
the
was just having
least in your
fun.
head.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like trying to go back to that in a lot of ways. And then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like how to move on and get better, knowing that now I understand the rules and the structure, how to recapture the fun and excitement and the
Hmm.
unpredictability, the surprise.
I was just coaching a class team, and I was telling them like all the stuff, all the notes you're getting from your instructor are growing your comedy brain.
Yeah.
But when you're in scenes, just be in the scene
Yeah.
and let that stuff that you've learned
Yeah.
from your comedy brain being expanded,
Yeah.
let that stuff come out second nature
Hmm.
and just how it plays out. But like, don't be thinking about it. Like I've been told I do this, so let me make sure I don't do that now. And it's like just listen to your scene partner is
Yeah.
really like you'll do the thing the
Yeah.
way your teacher tells you to, just because you know it now. Like, you
Right.
know that information, but what are you doing? What's happening in this moment? Play to that.
It's so funny that like we need all of this training, which you do, right? Like you
Yeah,
do need all
you
of this
do.
training.
Yeah.
But the
It's like
training
there's so
is
many skills that we naturally have, but
yes.
we,
Yes, it's like it's we're really just like the training is not like this isn't necessarily like a specialized skill that you won't use anywhere else. We are just trying to make you as comfortable and as real as you are in real life
Mhm.
on stage. We're just trying to recreate that, but with like a few special things built in so that like we can, like, because if somebody was, like being a certain way in real life, you would just be like, no, thank you, and then you would exit. But, like in a scene, we can use it for comedy. And it's like, yeah, those are the things that we're learning, but most of it is just to try to get everyone to get over themselves and be real people on stage.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Recently, you did a web series called Making Out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was such a great experience. And we're hoping, but like anytime I do anything, I was like, I hope some money comes through so that I can do this for a living.
Keep justifying going
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, I get it.
I'm
It's
like,
it's a weird balance because like sometimes people, they get to a successful place and then the joy that's in it when we're struggling is like
yeah.
not as strong anymore.
Yeah.
It's like how do you find the balance of like that fun that was there at the different earlier stages and middle stages, and then also the living.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, this was kind of like so many things in my life. I feel like this is a second chance or a second pass. I don't want to say a second chance, like I like something hangs in the balance, but this is like, oh, my chance to like redo something that I enjoyed, but like now we know a little bit more. About 8 years ago, Jana and I, she cast me in a pilot, that was about like, lesbians in Brooklyn and like trying to navigate different, difficult relationships. And she cast me because I was taking a class with her. I
Mhm.
happened to be the big sib, but she had like ideas and she's brilliant. But, um, like and then we kind of we made it, we shopped it around, we showed it, it made into like a short film festival run by HBO for Pride. And I it was amazing because like I got to sort of collide. It wasn't anything like lasting, but like Jeff Hiller was there. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and Jeff Hiller was like, "Oh, that you were so funny in that," and I lived off of the that compliment for like months afterwards. I mean, here I am 8 years afterwards, where I remember the moment Jeff Hiller came over and was like, "You were funny in that," and I,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, it's Jeff Hiller!" But like we shopped it around, and then we kind of, lived our different entertainment comedy lives. And then after the pandemic, I found myself back at Magnet because I had a few lost years. And like in between, like, I mean, before the pandemic, it was like maybe 2016, 2017 maybe was like the last time I took a class at Magnet. And
Mhm.
then I was just like, well, let me try to take some classes elsewhere. I'm not really getting on a megawatt team. And then I got very preoccupied with making money and got really sort of like focused on my career in ad tech. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then after the pandemic, I was or like like hungry for more. I was on an indie team during the pandemic, so we were doing Zoom shows, and then I was just like I had a couple of things happen where I felt like Magnet might be calling me back. I don't know. But I took a storytelling class with Adam Wade, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
he's phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah, he's so good. I mean, he's excellent. Um and then I found and then I heard that like a new advanced 2 class was was opening up, and I was just like, and then like my I was in a show back then too. It was a scripted show, and the director was like, "Oh, I work with Louis Kornfeld. Um, he says hello." And I was like, "Okay, well, this is it." So I retook advantage too, got on a team and saw Jana there shortly afterwards. And I was like, "Jana!" And I was so excited because there were still a couple of people I recognized after like 5 or 6 years when
Yeah.
the community was like, I mean, the complexion of improv was different in the city. All of these like these established players had like gone off to LA or gone back home. They were doing other things. And so like when I saw Jana, I was so excited because I was like, oh, great, another person I recognize. And after a while, I was like, what do you think about trying to make another show? What is your interest there? Like possibly making a sequel or something? And she was like, you know, I kind of want to start from scratch, like same themes and you just give me a minute. And like a month and a half later, she came to me with like a series of like a full concept. Like she already had a bunch of things in her head that she wanted to
Wow.
do. She's amazing. She's
Yeah.
and one of the coolest people, like so good to work with. And uh I read through the script and I was like bought in before I even read it, but I went through the motions of pretending I was like, let me see what kind of story this is. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to say yes, obviously. And so we redid it in November. And a couple of our favorite people from Magnet are in it, Eleanor Lewis and Nate Wise, and a cast of like really, really talented people that Jana just cast. She's meticulous about every single detail. And we just recently launched all of them live on her Instagram, uh,
Yeah.
Jana.Keaton, Keaton. If anybody wants to see them, but like they're all live. They're just all 1 minute, and it was amazing. Like everyone who worked on it was amazing, and I
Yeah. They
was
look great.
it was intimidating to like among such talented people. Like, and Nate, who plays my roommate in it, absolutely steals the show. He's fantastic.
Nate's always so good.
So talented. He's like funny to a
Mhm.
frustrating degree. Like
Yeah.
anytime you see him on stage or like behind, like in front of the camera, he's like doing things that are fascinating and so good. And he's just got that touch. And he like
Yeah.
the entire room was like exploding with laughter. We were all trying to like suppress it so we didn't blow the take, but he's so talented.
He's awesome. He's awesome at
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I was like he was so talented. I was like, get the fuck out of here, Nate.
Well, we've reached the end of the episode. It's time to create something together. And I'm feeling maybe an advice one.
Oh,
Just because, you pursued improv for a long time and then you took this break and then you came back to it.
yeah.
You've worked a lot of different things, a
Yeah.
lot of different kinds of shows, a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
So, what sort of advice do you have for young improvisers who are starting out and want to achieve things too? They want to get involved, they want to do things. What advice do you have for them on how to get involved and how to get in the mix?
Uh, be open to everything. And I mean, like with obviously don't do things that feel dangerous or unsafe, but
Right.
be open, like say yes to as many create your own practice groups. And like in terms of like the technical pathways, it's like do as much as possible and take as many classes, meet as many people, network, be open and friendly and warm and inviting and inclusive and truly desire to connect authentically, but also like look out for each other and support. I mean, like really, it's the principles of improv, like in real life. It's easy for improv to feel like a cult because Because it gives you so many skills that'll help, like in your real life. Like one of my favorite teachers, Russ Armstrong, used to, and I've been quoting him so much lately. He used to say, like, improv teaches you how to be a shit person on stage so you can be a good person off stage.
That's
Right.
fine.
But in terms of like the opportunities and the pathways, it's like, yeah, do as much as possible and say yes and add a little. But like when it comes to skill building, be a real person. Don't try to tell jokes. I'm going to quote others who have come before me and who have done this much longer, but TJ and Dave say, don't go for the joke, go for the cheer, right? And I feel that so much that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going in trying to make people laugh. I want people to stand. I want a standing ovation at the end.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Ivy, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me. It's been an honor, and this was such a nice conversation.
A delightful conversation with a delightful human. So glad to have Ivy on. And check out the web series she's in, Making Out, on Instagram at Janet.Keaton. And see Ivy perform with Slow Play at the Magnet Theater. Next show is Sunday, July 12th. Links for those in the description. Also, the When Doves podcast episode I did is coming out on July 12th now. So be on the lookout for that. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at There It Is Pod. And subscribe to our YouTube channel at There It Is, and follow me on Instagram and Threads at Jason Farr Pics. Also subscribe to our comedy lifestyle newsletter and support us if you can. We have a Patreon and a PayPal. Go to thereitispod.com for newsletter and support info. Links in bio. Until next time, be good to each other. It's a moral imperative.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.